Hey everyone, today I am back with another magical movie menu, Lilo and Stitch. We love this movie, and with the live action movie being released this week, I knew I had to make a menu for our family movie night. We will be making Pudge's peanut butter skewers, Lilo's pepperoni pizzas, Mr. Bubble's lemonade, an Experiment 626, Kalua Pork Sliders, David's Kalua Pulled Pork Sliders, Nani's sweet potato fries, and Stitch's coconut chocolate cake. I also want to mention that I've brought back my printable menu cards on Etsy, which I'll link down below. As always, my recipes are free on my website, but if you're like me and enjoy having physical copies of your recipes, these are so cute. Perfect to stick in envelopes for a surprise movie night too. Let's go get started. So we're going to start out with David's Kalua Pulled Pork Sliders. So we want to get this pulled pork going in the slow cooker. So I have 1 cup of water, and to that I am adding 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and 1/2 tablespoon of liquid smoke. And we just want to give that a good stir. And then I have a 6 to 8 pound pork shoulder. This thing was huge. If you have a smaller slow cooker like I do, keep that in mind when you are picking your roast. This was actually our free one from Easter at ShopRite. So anyway, we are going to cover the top liberally with salt and then pour the mixture around the sides of the pork. You want to make sure that salt stays on top of the pork. And then we are just going to set that on high for 6 to 8 hours or on low for 10 to 12 hours. And then we're going to get started on Stitch's coconut chocolate cake. So because we have a lot of different dishes and components going on for this meal, I just used a chocolate box of cake mix and made it according to the package directions, and I'm just dividing that between the muffin tins. This made about 18 cupcakes. And then again baked it according to the package directions. Now if you remember, this recipe was inspired from when they're at the luau and Stitch eats both pieces of the chocolate cake and Lilo gets really upset and he spits it all back out. So we're going to add those classic cherries on top. But again, I just have a tub of vanilla buttercream and I'm just sprinkling some sweetened coconut flakes on top. And then I have maraschino cherries that I let drain on a paper towel so that the juice doesn't bleed into the icing. And it's as simple as that. Now we have little mini Stitch cakes. Okay, so let's move on to Pudge's peanut butter sandwich skewers. So I have 4 slices of bread and I'm just making 2 peanut butter sandwiches using about 2 to 3 tablespoons of peanut butter for both. You don't want to add too much because it will ooze out when you cut this into squares. I'm sorry, ooze was a really gross word. But you know what I mean. So once those are assembled, I just cut the crusts off, which again is optional. And just cut these into about 1-inch cubes. And then I have some beautiful large strawberries here that I'm also just going to cut into 1-inch pieces. And then I have these wooden skewers, and I'm just going to alternate a piece of the peanut butter sandwich with a strawberry. These are so cute and fun and really great for the kids. My son loved having these because he loves peanut butter sandwiches and strawberries. And it's kind of a fun twist instead of doing a peanut butter and jelly, since Pudge's sandwich was just peanut butter. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Pudge is the fish in the beginning of the movie that Lilo says she has to feed a peanut butter sandwich to, and they were out of peanut butter, and her sister told her to feed him a tuna sandwich, which you cannot feed a fish, obviously. So these are inspired by that. So now let's move on to Nani's sweet potato fries. This is inspired by the scene again where they're at the luau and she comes over and says to Lilo, "You didn't eat your sweet potato." So of course I had to incorporate them somewhere, but they also go really great with the pulled pork sliders. So I'm just cutting 2 to 3 sweet potatoes into 1/4-inch wedges. For about 30 minutes. This helps get some of that excess starch off of the potatoes and will help them crisp up better. I want to take the sweet potatoes out and dry them as much as we can in a towel. And then I am going to sprinkle on some cornstarch. And we just want to toss those all together. And then I have a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I'm just going to arrange the sweet potato wedges in a single layer and then drizzle them with some olive oil. You want to try and make sure they are not crowded, and that's how you're going to get a nice and crispy fry. So then we're just going to bake them for about 15 minutes. Flip them over and bake them an additional 15 minutes or until they're nice and golden and crispy. To our 2 drink options, these are super easy. So we have Mr. Bubbles lemonade, which is just lemonade served over ice because that is what Nani offers him. And if you want to make it a cocktail, we are going to make the Experiment 626, named after Stitch, and we are just going to add 1 ounce of vodka and 1 ounce of blue curacao to our lemonade. I love being able to incorporate the lemonade into both drinks so that we don't have to go out and buy a bunch of different ingredients just to make 2 separate beverages. So now let's move on to Lilo's pepperoni pizzas, which are inspired by when Nani brings the slice of pepperoni pizza to Lilo in her room after their big fight. So I have a tube of the Pillsbury pizza dough. I like to use this just because it's flat and even to cut circles out of, but you could absolutely just use a regular pizza dough. So I am just using my mom's old donut cutter that she just recently gave me to make little circles of dough here. And I'm just topping them with pizza sauce, shredded mozzarella cheese, and pepperoni. And my oven is preheated to 400 degrees, and we just want to bake these for about 12 to 15 minutes or until they are nice and golden. I also wanted to mention that you can bake these at 425 degrees along with the fries. Just want to cut that baking time down to about 8 to 10 minutes. So while those are in the oven, I am just flipping my sweet potato fries and baking them for an additional 15 minutes. And then while those are finishing up, I am just going to shred up our pork. Drizzle it with some barbecue sauce, whatever your favorite brand is, and then serve them on Hawaiian slider rolls. This pork is smoky and it's got a little bit of that salty crust to it. So delicious. And there you have it, my magical movie menu for Lilo and Stitch. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along and making this with me. I'm trying to get back on track with making movie menus at least once a month because they're so much fun. My toddler had a blast with this. It was such a special treat because we always eat at the dining room table for dinner, so we hunkered down in front of the TV, put the movie on, and it was just such a special family night. So I highly recommend, and again, the cards are really fun because I'm going to keep growing our collection of cards and keep them in a box so that he can pick out a movie night and start a really fun tradition. If you guys do purchase the cards, I really appreciate it. It just supports my channel and goes right back into groceries and filming supplies. Of course, no pressure. As I said, all of the recipes are available at cinderellasapron.com. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.